businesses' tax strategies, it kind of starts with the entity selection, and it depends on what type of business it is and how many people are involved. And then the next one is nexus. Where are you operating? Which states? Which cities or counties? You want to try to minimize that usually to keep things simple. The number of partners. Partners are a huge risk, so anytime you can avoid partners, usually it's better, unless you really need them, unless there's a real synergistic draw between the two partners to keep it together. Otherwise, it'll fall apart pretty quick. Same with employees. Try not to take on employees early. Do the work yourself. Outsource the work to legitimate contractors. Until you know the business model is working before you start incurring all these employment tax liabilities that you can't get out of. And then, once you create these entities, then you have tax elections to make. How do you want those entities to be taxed? And it just depends on how successful it is, how much money it's making, how much money it's losing, and where can you use the losses. It's all stuff we can easily help with. But those are all big mistakes that a lot of startups make when they don't surround themselves with their right little group of advisors, because they don't even know these issues exist out there. A lot of times it's so bad they don't even file for 3 years or 5 years, and then they come to us and we're like, oh my gosh, it's such a big mess to clean up. And the other thing is to keep it simple. So when you go to a competent professional firm like ours, one of the big advantages is we're going to help you keep it simple. So it's real easy to get your small business to be super complicated, and you don't want that. You have to, it's almost like a natural step. You create the business, you overcomplicate it, and then you have to have the experience and knowledge to pull that back and okay, now I see the detailed way to do it. Now how do I do it the most simple way possible? And it's honestly like that for as long as you can keep it that way, past the micro business stage to the larger small business stage. It's always about trying to keep it as simple as possible and knowing how to do that. And that's what your group of advisors is for. And then another trick is to just be in compliance. So as I mentioned, a lot of times people are just out of compliance. They just didn't know they had these compliance matters to take care of, or they knew and thought it was no big deal. They'll get around to it later, and they never do, and it brings them down, or it creates such a huge burden that it makes it much, much harder for them to find success.